Hi, it's me. 1 second before we go any further. Got a brand new microphone, and I'm not sure that it's working. And that's not going to be awesome if I have the sound settings incorrect. So if you're watching right now, you could let me know if you could hear me. That would be fantastic. Without me having to say, Tommy, can you hear me? Which is the 70s. It's an amazing movie. It's an even better soundtrack, but it just feels a little rude. That would be fantastic. Oh, there we go. It's working. I'm going to take it. All right, there we go. It's Coach MK, just testing out a brand new microphone. Everybody in Slow Burn, if you just saw the first video and you're like, there's no sound, that's why. I'm going to go back and re-record it. Apologies for that. But I have this fancy new microphone that my husband got for me because he got tired of waiting for me to take the one that is broken to the warranty store to fix it. So now I've got this big old fancy professional looking thing that I barely obviously have no idea how to use, which is why Chrissy did not recommend I buy this one. Yes, you can hear me. Thank you very much for letting me know, Amy. I appreciate it. But when you check the video on the Slow Burn page, if you can't hear that, I will re-record it. Sorry, know that in advance. But I tried to do a live, and I got blocked from doing a live because it doesn't like the sound settings. So I recorded a video and uploaded it, and it did that. And I'm like, oh, maybe it wouldn't let me go live because it was muted. Oh well, either way, live and learn. Here we are. Hope 2021 is being good to you. And I just completely lost what I was working on. Here it is. Ask away. My favorite time of the week. Hopefully it's yours as well. It's my time to answer all the questions burning in the hearts and minds of all our runners. And I got a whole lot of runners I know with a whole lot of things burning them up right now because they're getting ready to start Slow Burn tomorrow. Sort of, but not really. So this, you see, this is one of the things that we did differently. This that we learned from the last 2 times and we decided to do differently this year is we built in a prep week. So it's an entire week, day by day. If you receive the emails daily from Training Peaks like I do, it's one of my favorite features of Training Peaks. You will be ready to go by the time you tie your shoes on and go out the door for the first time. So this prep week has they got the first today, which was about setting intentions and what they intend to get out of the program and how they are going to look at it. Because I don't like people telling me that they failed. Usually when they tell me, oh, I didn't succeed, I push back on that pretty hard. I'm like, you met all your metrics. You did everything you said you were going to do. So how is this a failure? So we need to define failure. Not just success, but what does failing look like before we start anything? And that has probably been one of the most salient lessons I've learned as a coach over the years. So this will be no exception in a year that is already starting out to be quite exceptional. I felt like we need to be kind and gentle to ourselves, and we can still hold ourselves to standards, but those standards need to be fair, and they can only be fair if the intentions are not, in fact, cruel. Almost all of us have been trained to fight against our bodies and work against our bodies and make them smaller, take up less space. And it's just a lot. It's just a lot. I've given up over the years. I am completely incapable of breathing less air, taking up less space, or keep my mouth shut when I'm getting the raw end of a deal, or I see people being unfair. And I'm not about to, I'm 42 years old, going to be 43 this year. I'm not fighting that instinct anymore. It's part of who I am. It's part of what I do. And the most important person in this world, the person who is the most unfair to is you. And you're really not fair to yourself. You don't give yourself enough credit. You aren't kind enough to yourself. You don't count your wins. You don't count your achievements. And I really wish you would, because if you could look in the mirror and see what I see when I look at you, man, you would set different intentions. If I could ask you to set intentions for the person next to you, they would be way more gentle, way more graceful, and way more accurate than the ones you would probably set for yourself, because you're going to look inward and you're going to look for something to change. Whereas the rest of us are looking at you and thinking of all the things that we would never, ever, ever change about you. So with that in mind, let's count the weekly wins, answer the questions, and then I'm going to rip these earrings off and go get in the cuddle puddle with my kids, you guys. So Runner Interrupted, weekly win number 1. Shar Gore, who's been battling cancer, just got her port out, and I'm excited about that. Amanda Bailey made the best of a school tech fail and spent a great day with her kids hiking in the forest. I love that. Oh my gosh, because you're in the Pacific Northwest, I believe. So you got some great places to hike. I love it. We took advantage of the school tech fail the other day and just cuddled together on the couch for an extra hour, and it was not productive. And by my definition these days, it was kind of perfect. Over in Maintain, Katie Fry had not run in a week because life. We get it, Katie. We get it. She jumped on the treadmill on Saturday, phoned a friend, and next thing she knew, she had run 10 miles. Want to know something, Katie? You have run further in 2021 than I have. Today, I ran my farthest, the longest run that I've had, probably and actually longer than that. I think I had an 11-mile run back in like July, maybe, but I had a 9-mile run today, and that's the longest I've run in months. So congratulations, you ran longer and harder than I did. And not that you need to run harder, not that anyone needs to run longer. It's just to give you context and perspective. You're doing more than I did. You're winning at life. Amy Wilson had a great run that included high knees up a hill. Whoa, why did you do that? I love it. I love seeing the old workouts come back. That's still one of my favorites. High knees up a hill was something I would make all my runners do. And when I was working as a coach at Lifetime Run, back when they had a run program, sad to say that folded last year. But Amy has a perfect hill that is 2 miles from her house, and that makes it perfect for a mid-run. It makes it perfect for mid-run hill work. Amy also has a really incredible view, and maybe if we're lucky, we will. She will let us put a picture of that on her Instagram account, because tell you what Amy gets to see when she does a workout in the morning, outdoors with all the snow, or indoors with the spectacular view she has from her treadmill. Either way, she's winning at life, and I'm jealous of Amy most of the time. Okay, now we are going on. And so in Erin Sorensen and Kathleen Harden both ran outside this week for the first time in over a month. And I know that's huge because I know Kathleen works, I think one of you works in healthcare. I'm going to get that wrong. I'm like Katie Hansen Harden. Sorry, I'm just wrong name, wrong person. I got the right initials and the wrong everything else is because they just got their COVID vaccines. But I know a bunch of our healthcare workers did receive their COVID vaccinations this week. And I want to say, if you haven't done anything because it wiped you out a little bit, that's great. That's valid. Yay, you. If you got your vaccine, raise your hand and show us and let us know so we can celebrate along with you. And congratulations to Erin and for Kathleen, because running outside, I know I ran outside for the longest today. I was just saying that I have in 2021 and frankly for the bulk of 2020. And I know how good that feels because I am feeling it with you today. No questions in rebuild. Pretty awesome. I guess everybody's getting ready for slow burn, saving the questions there. In Maintain, I've got runs over 8 miles. I tend to feel nauseous after I'm done. Doesn't matter if it's hot out or cold out. My brother, who also happens to be a runner, tells me it's because I'm dehydrated. I think it probably is, but I bring plenty of water, new hydration stuff, etc. on my runs, and I still feel nauseous. Any thoughts? Maybe it's my body stressing out running that far, or maybe it's just in my mind. It could be a lot of different things. We tend to blame hydration first for everything, but based on what you're telling me, doesn't sound like that might be the case. I am dehydrated at the moment, but we also have lower potassium at the moment. Bananas are a really great thing for runners to eat. Those potassium levels are part of an ongoing hydration strategy for me. And we've been out of bananas for about a week, and I can feel it in my lips right now because they're a little parched, and that tends to be unusual. But that also would be coupled along with having a longer run today than I've had in a long time. So hydration isn't just about what you consume on the run; it's about what you are consuming on a regular basis. Are you eating a lot of foods that are water-based? Are you getting your green vegetables, or at least, in some small amounts? And again, the bananas. So bananas are a really easy way to sneak in a lot of the things that you would need, a lot of the trace minerals you need to balance hydration levels over time. Those are always really good to get. But when it comes to nauseous, I don't necessarily default to hydration, and I definitely don't default to hydration during the run. Where I tend to go first is like, how are you feeling? And I know that sounds a little bit hokey because I don't know if they talk about this in medical school, but how are you feeling when you get started has a whole lot to do with how you're going to feel when you're finished. If you're incredibly stressed out right now, and I know a lot of us have been really stressed out for a really long time. Amy, who is a trauma nurse, is pointing out that coconut water is high in potassium too. I've consumed so much coconut water in the past month, I've not been able to touch it. So I swapped to bananas, but you are absolutely correct. Coconut water, if you can keep it handy, is a terrific source of potassium. Add a little sea salt and a squeeze of lime, and you got a sports drink right there. So one of the things that so again, when you're starting a run feeling pretty stressed or not really managing the stress, like the run itself is supposed to be the stress reliever, that's going to leave you feeling nauseous at the end because you're going to be leaving it all out there, so to speak. Another thing that can cause a nauseousness, I don't want to say it could be something in your nutrition, which is not to say like you're eating the wrong things, but I know that when I've been eating more sugar than normal, that is going to impact the way I feel during and after a run because my body doesn't want to move. And when I move, when my body does not want it to, I get really nauseous. So when I've been when we have milkshakes for dinner, and we do that a lot these days, which hence part of the weight gain, but I really don't care, man. My husband and I will just be like, we've had a bad day, one milkshake. Yep. And that's dinner. So when we have a milkshake for dinner store today, I know my run the next day is going to be a bust, and I know I'm going to be nauseated, and I know that's going to be a part of it. Part of it is the unbalanced diet. Part of it's the sugar. But I also know that my arthritis is going to be worse than usual because that sugar leads to inflammation, and everything is connected in that. So there are a lot of things it could be. There's no, one direct thing. It absolutely is this, but I would start first with thinking about hydration, not just on the run, but all the time, every day, and making sure you're getting potassium on a regular basis. A great time to eat protein is right before you go to bed because your body will metabolize it better. I'm not saying eat like a big old roast beef sandwich before you go to sleep. That could throw off your sleeping habits. But I know that when I'm in a muscle building period, like I am going to be as we start slow burn, big old bite of tuna fish wrapped in a piece of cheese at night feels really good. It kills the hunger cravings. It kills the sugar cravings. And your body needs the protein. Which is why you're hungry at night. So I know this has a question about being nauseated and not about hunger at night, but this is how it all kind of ties together. This is the thing that you're noticing, but there might be a whole litany of other things that you are not noticing that might be more responsible than what you're consuming on the run, if that makes sense. I'm happy to discuss it further, but think about what else has been going on. Give me a little more to work with and a few more data points because hydration is a big deal, but this doesn't sound like hydration to me. Amy, I know, again, you're the trainer, so if you want to speak to this, feel free, jump in, add a comment, and I'll give you the floor. But the thing about 8 miles is salient because that's about the 90-minute mark where we're going to be tapping into that additional energy system that I've talked about. It's why the long run matters, and it's why we have to do them if we want to participate in marathons or longer runs, longer races with the intention of not stopping. That you can only tap into it realistically maybe once or twice a week. Elites will do it twice a week when they have a second long run. We don't need a second long run. One long run is absolutely plenty, but you're going to be tapping into that energy system around the 80-minute mark. And for a lot of people, that's the point where they tap out. And here's the final thing I would think about is vitamin D and ferritin. If you take it, ferritin is a digestible form of iron. If you're taking that, be sure you're taking it with vitamin C so that your body can metabolize it. You need to take it at the same time. But that could be a big part of it too. I know that's when I have the lead legs, I'm probably not getting enough protein and I'm probably a little bit deficient in ferritin, and that will make me nauseous. My ex-boyfriend is now following me on Strava. Oh my God. I'm sorry. I already feel the need to beat him. How do I overcome this feeling? Block him. I'm very serious. It's not weird and it's not rude. It is weird and rude when someone that you had a relationship with a long time ago or whatever, even a week ago, if you're no longer together, would follow you on Strava. Maybe he just joined Strava. I wanted to give him the benefit of doubt. Maybe he just joined Strava and it's like, oh, here are all your friends. Sure, add all. Here are all your friends from Facebook. Click add all. Fine. Maybe he did it without thinking, but that doesn't mean you have to go with it. And it doesn't mean you owe him a conversation about why. I know I have an ex living in Denver, one I do not ever want to speak to again, made that very, very clear when we ended our relationship. He tried to friend me on Strava and I made my profile, I changed the privacy settings and I blocked him. And then I blocked him on LinkedIn. And I blocked him on Facebook. And I've had to block him multiple places where he felt determined to show me he could pop up. I had to block him from Google Photos. Who follows you on Google Photos? I can't even get my family to figure out how to follow me on Google Photos. Maybe this isn't the situation that you're talking about. But if there's some part of you that feels like you need to prove something to yourself or to him still, then that's all I need to know to say, he doesn't need to see what you're doing, because he doesn't get to judge you. If you're already in a space where you're asking me what to do, I'm telling you, this isn't going to be good for you. Get rid of him. You absolutely do not owe him anything. He does not get to see what you do on Strava. It's not you being rude. It's not you being mean. It's you setting a boundary. Our relationship is over. I'm worried about how you're going to judge my running. I'm worried about how I'm comparing my running to yours. So for the sake of my mental health, I am setting this firm boundary. If you would like to have coffee and talk about it, that's something totally separate. You don't have to do that either. You don't have to explain yourself to anyone, especially someone you're going to feel the need to compete with on Strava. And even if it isn't like a long-standing emotional connection you have with the person, there are just some people who don't make you feel good. There are a lot of people in my life that don't make me feel good. And I got real bold about blocking them, which might be shocking to some. Like, you got bolder? I know I'm a strong personality, and I know that I have spent a lot of time being good with firm boundaries and enforcing those boundaries. More firm than most. Anyone that's ever got the MK treatment should have seen it coming. I ain't exactly subtle about where the red line is. But I tell you that to tell you this: you don't need to overcome the feeling. You need to get rid of the thing that's causing it, and that's his access to your runs in Strava. If you just don't need to think about him. It doesn't make you small. It doesn't make you petty. I have blocked all kinds of people who don't make me feel good about myself. And that's a reflection of our relationship, of me, to a certain degree. But rather than in a time when so much is demanded of me in so many different areas, and I've got less and less to give on a daily basis. At the age of 42, I am not going to spend a lot of time trying to be the bigger person in a relationship that ended a while ago that still has that net effect on me. I'm going to block them and go on with my life. And I would recommend you do the same, honestly. I'm not one to get over feelings over the age of 35. You deal with them. And sometimes the best way to deal with them is to not deal with them. To say, you know what? I don't need a reason. I don't need an excuse. I don't need an explanation. I just don't need this. And if you can't do it following one of the most contentious elections in United States history, in the middle of a global pandemic, at a time when so many of us are still under lock and key and quarantine in our homes, then when can you do it? I'm just saying, it's now or never. Do it now. Every other time, people might be too bored. It might be a conversation. He might not even notice. So my question is about the long run. I think I've regained most of my fitness after a broken toe in the early fall, but I've had a hard time motivating myself for a long run beyond 60 minutes. 95 minutes feels like a lot right now. Would you suggest I stay with 30 or more on a day if I feel like it, or try to work my way to 95 and stay there every week? I don't think it matters. The 95-minute long run only matters if you're trying to stay really, really race ready. And if you're healing from a broken toe, you ain't there. So I say go with the 60 minutes that makes you feel good rather than worrying about the 35 minutes that you may feel like you're missing. Go kill those 60 minutes. And by killing, I mean go get those, make those 60 minutes yours, and don't worry about the rest. You don't really need a long run every week. You don't need it all the time. Remember, I created this program to keep people race ready because everybody raced all the time. Now we're in a different place, but I'm giving you the option to get out of the house for a longer period of time. So if you'd like to do that run and then walk for 30 minutes, that's valid. If you really want to get that extra time on your feet for the crucial adaptations, get those too. If you happen to live near Amanda Williams and can get those donuts, I demand that you go get those donuts and then do some sort of a live stream on Instagram that we can amplify so we see, and just take 30 minutes to walk, talk, and eat that donut because they look really amazing. And I don't know if you remember, I have celiac, so I don't get to eat donuts that look good and taste good. So do it for those of us who can't. That's just that we've been talking a lot about donuts this week. So that's what I think about that. Like, it only matters when it matters, and I don't think it matters right now. So go with what feels good and don't worry about the rest. And yay for healing from a broken toe. Please don't re-break it. I am registered for an in-person marathon in the Northeast Kingdom. I'm registered. I'm like, what is the Northeast Kingdom? There was a spacebar fail there, I think. I'm registered for an in-person marathon in the Northeast Kingdom Marathon on May 1st. And we are now 15 weeks out. I'm not even sure if it's still going to happen. The RD plans to make an announcement mid-February one way or the other. So we're all hopeful that it's going to happen, and I'm signed up for slow burn. So my 10-week ramp would start exactly halfway through slow burn. Should I stick with the runs in slow burn or switch to Tenacious AF at the 10-week point or something different altogether? First, I would kind of set your attention for slow burn, because you don't have to do any of the runs in slow burn. If there's a part of you that's thinking of doing a marathon 15 weeks out, it is totally valid to keep doing the runs in maintain, or at least the long runs in maintain, and doing the strength and slow burn. That's a good option, actually. And that way you can ramp up if you want to, and then move back over to slow burn by mid-February when you're like, oh, okay, this race is happening. I'm right where I need to be. Or, oh no, this race is not happening. I'll just go do the runs in slow burn. I don't really need a 16, 19, 23 mile long run if I'm not doing a marathon. So that's how I would look at it. Go and train for the marathon until you have a reason not to, but do the strength and slow burn, because early on in the cycle, it can't hurt at all. And neither will the yoga or did I mention pajama asana? I'm so excited about that, you guys. My pajamas are in the other room because otherwise they'd be on, and then little kid hands would be all over them, and I'd rather not go there. I would say pajama asana. I'm really excited about that for slow burn. Yay. We're going to have slumber parties, you guys. Slumber parties. So yeah, that's exactly how I would handle it. Hi, Coach. Is slow burn still starting on Monday? Yes. Will there be a new Training Peaks code? How do we access the materials? You should already have it. You should already have all of it. I have a list of people who reached out to me and said I was unable to use slow burn last time. I thought I got all of them. So we have a total of 28 people in the program. We've got the new purchases, the holdovers, and a couple of the fitness protection employees. Yay. And you should have received, everyone who indicated to me that they were going to do slow burn this time should have received the emails and the first round of Zoom invitations. Check your spam. Check your spam filter and make sure mk@fitnessprotection.com is in your address book, because all of this is coming directly from me. I'm not using the email software. It's coming directly from my email account, but it's coming to a group that's blind copied. So some spam filters will filter that out. Go check your spam filter. Go check the additional tabs in Google and in Gmail and look there. And if you have not received your materials, reach out to me immediately and know that I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry for the oversight. I don't know how that would have happened. I checked the list very carefully, and I checked it with Susan. So I sincerely apologize, but let me know immediately if you haven't got the stuff for slow burn and it's not in your spam folder and it's not in your junk folder, and it's not anywhere to be found. Also, remember that the list, I might be using the email address that Wix gave me when you made the payment. So if you paid for slow burn with, say, your PayPal account, and you don't really use that account for anything but PayPal transactions, maybe go check that email account, and then let me know and say, please use this email instead, Coach MK, and that will do it. So that happens a lot, unfortunately, at Fitness Protection. So that, for better or worse, that's how I would do it. Spam filter, junk filter, add me the address book to make sure nothing's missed. And then finally check all of your other email addresses that a confirmation could have possibly gone to. And that if either your Venmo or the whatever address would have been attached to your business account online. I know a lot of people use different emails, but I have no way of knowing that at the point when you sign up. Okay. Well, that's it. I'm going to take my earrings off, get in a cold puddle, get ready to feel the burn. You're coached. You are loved. Let's win it this week, no matter what it brings.